Welcome to another More to Life Conversations. I'm really pleased to introduce today Holly Kellam. But before I get into that, I'll just say a couple of things about what's coming up in Insight Intuition. We've got our very popular Self and Tarot Revealed course coming up, which is an inspirational course, and it aids intuition and personal and spiritual growth. Also, a very new course coming up, we've got the Hierarchy of Angels, which is connecting to universal energies. And I think that will be very exciting and exploratory few weeks. So if you want to join those, please contact me, julie@juliesoskin.com. So here we are today with Holly. Holly is a facilitator of holistic well-being, meeting people through mindful movement and exercise, and she is a heart-centered rapid transformational therapist, RTT for short. She is co-founder of a wellbeing centre in Cornwall, which is in the west of the UK, called Inner Tide. She is also author of Heart of the Butterfly, A Walk to Wellness, in which she describes her pilgrimage journey on the Camino de Santiago. And I hope we're going to be hearing a lot of that today. Welcome, Holly.
Thank you, Julie. It's so nice to be here. Thank you for having me today.
Oh, it's lovely to have you. It's very interesting, this walk, which I believe can be over 800 miles. And of course, the main question coming up then, I think, for a lot of people is, why do people take this pilgrimage? Because I know lots and lots of people do. And why did you feel you wanted to take this pilgrimage?
Well, people come from all over the world to take this walk, as it would. And as I walked for 4 weeks.
Wow.
I heard so many amazing stories about what the motivation for why people walked. For example, there was one man who walked every year for 19 years.
Wow.
As a form of gratitude for keeping cancer in remission.
Oh, wow.
There was another couple. I never met them. I met that man. There was another young couple who were walking with a little baby infant strapped to the back. And they were walking because they were grateful for that infant.
Oh.
And in my case, well, I was called to walk. And what I mean by that is there's a saying on the path that the Camino calls you. And I woke up in the middle of the night with this word Burgos booming like thunder in my head. And I got up the next morning and I took a look on the map and I saw that Burgos was on the Camino of Santiago. Now, the run up to that was that, well, although I was living an amazing life with an amazing person in an amazing country, something just wasn't meeting. And something didn't feel right, but I could never put my finger on it. And so all of a sudden, time and space in work just opened up. And it kind of was like, girl, it's do or die. You're either going to do it now, because I had read a long time ago, I read Paulo Coelho's version of his walk called The Pilgrimage. And I always thought, oh, I'd like to do that.
Okay.
And now I was really being pulled, like, put your money where your mouth is. You can do it now. And so after I heard that booming, I looked online and I just bought a ticket. And
Wow.
and I had a couple days to get ready. Basically, I grabbed my old gardening shoes and an old backpack that wasn't a walking backpack, and found the only guidebook I could and off I went.
Right. And how did you feel? Can you describe what, some of it was like, what you discovered?
Ooh, yeah, a lot,
No.
a lot. So, um, it kind of, I would say in a way, well, what I learned, and what I felt kind of went hand in hand. The biggest and most important takeaway was that I came back into communication with my heart. And for the most part, if you ever see me in person, I'm usually always wearing some sort of heart as a necklace, as my way of gratitude, to remembering that to walk through life as best I can with as much of an open heart as possible. But that sounds on the page really easy and talking about it, but the whole journey was the evolution of coming back to my intuition. And Julie, you as the founder of the insight, the School of Insight and Intuition, really what it takes to quell the noise so
Yeah.
you can come back into the heart. But that's not the final thing. The final thing is then to start to take action. Once the heart speaks to you, then what do you do with that? And so there were a lot of emotions going through. Fear was one of the biggest ones because, well, that general sense of unknowing that pulled me to the Camino was like how you can't really put a finger on the feeling. It was just a mix of a whole different feelings. And so I was scared. I was scared what my heart was going to say. I did not want to hear that my relationship wasn't the right one at all. I prayed every day, please just give me the clarity to make this work so that I could feel at peace and live happily with the person I was with at that time. And so pain, yeah, I mean, I'm not selling the Camino right now. But that required, it required a little bit of bravery, a little bit of courage to be able to say, okay, heart wide open, what's in there? And then realize that actually the universe has your back. It really, really does. But that requires, and that is what develops trust. And first you got to get through the fear.
Yeah.
And when you find that trust, then the universe begins to speak to you.
Yeah.
Your heart starts to bloom and blossom and open. And then you hear things that you've been, no,
Yeah. Yeah. I think confronting fear takes enormous courage, as you're describing. I quite like the word courage because it comes from the French for heart. And there is no question about it. It takes huge courage. And I often say to students, what you're doing is enormous to, as you very well described, to be in that space where you can open your heart and whatever is coming, and it might be things you don't want to know, or it might not be. But it's like, opening Pandora's box or something. So I think it's a bravery. And I mean, putting aside the physicality of the walk, which is also very brave, I imagine, that sense of being in that space is hugely profitable when one can do it. So as you walked along these enormous amount of miles, Holly, were there any sort of peak times that that sort of realization came, or was it incremental? How did that transpire for you?
Mm. It was almost, Julie, like being dropped into a snow globe with,
Right.
with the ether sparkling all around, and you were just in this space, this place that was in between time and space. And so it was all around. All you had to do was open to it. And I thought that I could just jot down a note or two in my little journal at the end of the day, and I would capture it. The magic and the alchemy that was happening was with every breath and every step. And so what I did was little journals. I would have them in my pocket, and I'd walk, 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 walk. And then all of a sudden I'd get hit with some sort of like inspiration or realization. And I'd stop right there, wherever I was on the dusty, gravelly, dry space, pull out my pen and just start to write. And sometimes I didn't get very far in a day, which was another thing that was quite important and that I learned. One of the big lessons was, as you were saying about the courage and the bravery, when you open that Pandora's box, fascinating, you can have no expectations.
Yes.
Because, yes, and if you do, the universe is going to find a way to poke you. It'll poke you hard and sometimes trip you. So
Yeah.
yeah, so if I had the expectation in my head, yeah, I'm going to walk 30 miles today without any training, bunk, 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 forget that.
Mm,
Because all of a sudden I'm writing, I get 2 miles. That's it. Day over.
crikey. My goodness me. But you know that what you just said is so important, of no expectations. And I think that, in a sense, is the magic wand, is to free yourself of expectations so that you're in a clear space, so that you can allow whatever needs to come in, comes in. So, I have images in my head as you're speaking, as you're walking, and I'm just going to put your lovely book out, which of course I have read, and it's beautifully written, and I guess it's coming from the notes that you already explained.
Yep.
And so I'm hearing from you, Holly, that it wasn't like one big sort of transformation. It was almost like little ones that came a long way. Is that what you would say?
Yeah, I would say so. I was in Spain for that go, a period of 5 weeks. I walked for 4.5. And yes, I mean, in that space, which isn't a lot of time in a person's life, that was a big download. But in between, on every one of those days, I was being drip fed step by step by step.
Wow.
And it was like layers were being peeled off.
Mm,
And I have no question that there is, in a way, Heart of the Butterfly is a roadmap to clearing the space to be able to begin to listen to your heart again.
yeah.
Now, I'm very familiar with the courses that you offer, and I would say that the beautiful courses that you offer are very similar in the physical journey that I took. Many of the steps are the same. And if a person does want to open to their intuition and develop their psychic abilities, it is, as you so often say, take the noise out. And that
Mm,
can be done with a brilliant facilitator like you, for example. It can
mm,
also be done independently. It doesn't have to be in Spain on the Camino.
mm.
It can happen in many ways.
Yes, Yeah. I guess people find their own individual way, don't they? I mean, one of the things that I hear a lot from people when they come into courses is, I just feel pushed. I don't know what this is about, but it's gone on for years, maybe all their lives, maybe, and it's like, I've got to explore this. And I'm guessing for you that it was that exploration that took you on this journey. And pilgrimages are known throughout history. I mean, they had a powerful effect on people. There's no question. So yes, some people will want to take that arduous. For me, I would have thought that was really arduous on a physical level. Nonetheless, that in itself probably pushes people to open up that very thing. And also the space, it gives you space, doesn't it? As I'm hearing you talk, I'm thinking, yes, that gave you space. You know, here you are on your own, because you were on your own. You didn't go with anybody else, and it just gave you that space and time to really connect. And do you think, and this is a really off the cuff comment, but do you think there is a sort of, I don't want to use the word magic, but there is a sort of energy in the road itself? Is there something about that, do you think, that sort of enhances that opening up process?
I would say so, on a couple different levels. So for those, I know you're familiar, and for those people that are listening, there are many, there are what are known ley lines on the planet that are very well known. And if you don't know what ley lines are, then you could also think about the Earth's magnetic fields from a different perspective.
Yeah.
And so the Earth itself has its own kind of vibration.
Yeah.
And different places upon the Earth vibrate stronger or weaker in different sorts of vibrations. Now, if you at home feel more at peace with a certain area of the world, you're resonating with that for some reason. Now, maybe science can't explain it right now, but you can feel it. And so you can use that to consider along the actual routes of the trail, but also consider that above, not just the Earth, above, the trail is snaking under the Milky Way. So you have all of the celestial energy. And from a perspective of yin and yang, you have this yin energy rising and the universal and cosmic energy descending as you walk between. It's like a little sandwich. But, and then also the third, the third way that I would also say that it's super powerful there is because it's charged with all of the footsteps of those people that have been walking this path for thousands of years.
Yeah.
And their heart's desires.
Yeah.
And their devotion.
Yeah. So I suppose originally it was a sort of very Christian pilgrimage, but as you say, and I know from reading your book, there are lots of people that come from all different cultures and so forth. So whereas it might have started as a very Christian pilgrimage, it's become much broader, which is lovely, actually, which is really nice. I'm getting a lovely sense of it as I talk to you. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a spiritual journey as opposed to a religious journey.
Yes.
And I had the great benefit of meeting people from all over the world and from all different, well, I don't even want to say religions, because, some people weren't even there as a religious person. People just came because they wanted to come. Others were Buddhists, others were Islamic, others were, well, I don't know what, because a lot of times we didn't even talk about it.
No.
It wasn't, it's not about that. It's about you connecting with whatever you connect with, whatever
Yeah.
name you call it.
Yeah. So, what on this amazing journey that you had, what would be the sort of worst bit of it and the best bit of it? I think I know what you're going to say, but hey,
Julie, what do you think what the worst bit
I'm
was?
thinking of the bed bugs.
Yeah, and I like how you do that, because that's exactly how I felt too. Bed bugs. Well, and you almost start to get itchy thinking about it. Yeah. So yes. Now, what was very interesting was, as we talked about the drip feeding going along, I had to learn some lessons. I had to reorganize some of my behaviors. And one of the behaviors was having a restorative glass of wine at the end of a hard day's walk. And, we're in Spain and it's beautiful wine. And when you stop for the day as a pilgrim, you get a little passport, a pilgrim passport. And that proves, when you go to a restaurant where you've stopped, that you can have a pilgrim's meal for a very inexpensive price, 3 meals, and usually a big jug of wine or a couple bottles are just there on the table. Help yourself.
Wow.
And it's convivial. It's convivial. So you're around each other, and you chat about, oh yeah, on this stop I did this, or I met this really interesting person, or here's a tip to avoid blisters. Everybody's all ears for things like that. And so that was a lovely time, except for when I went to bed at night, I got chowed, absolutely bit up everywhere on my face, swollen, and I've got obviously some sort of allergy to anything that bites me. And
Mm.
as you got to clean everything, because if those little things get in this, they get in the seams of your clothes, and then they lay eggs, and then they hatch out again. So you get another wave of bites in a couple days, and this is a scourge on the Camino. So the hoteliers, the people that run the hostels, they don't want people bringing them
No.
from lodging to lodging. So you got to clean everything. You got to pull it all out of your backpack. You got to wash and dry everything, which takes time.
Yeah.
You're not walking on that day. And your mind is like, come on, giddy up, let's go, gallop. We got to get forward. So aside from the physical biting, and then the lost time, over a nice glass of red wine, I met an Australian couple, and they said, we figured it out. It's the wine. The
Oh.
wine is what the bed bugs love. So they come in, if you've been drinking, they bite you.
Wow.
And this was one of those things I didn't want to hear, because
Yeah.
that helped me process some of these emotions that were coming up. But I quickly realized, after I had 3 rounds of bites, I quickly realized, well, that was obviously not quick, that I had to get off the wine. And once I got off the wine, the bed bugs did not bother me anymore.
How interesting.
And the other lesson was that I realized that wine was part of the noise.
Ah.
It kept me from, it was insulating me. It was making it easier not to listen to my heart.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And I started to get the feeling like, when I get back home, I'm going to need this connection as strong as possible. I can't have anything in the way of this anymore. I
Mm.
made a choice. to never, as best I can as a human, to not block this anymore. So I needed my wits about me, and I had to, I'll have the occasional glass once in a while, but the bed bugs switched to migraines after I got off of the trail. So even if I thought, oh, I can get away with it, just another little glass of wine, wow, migraine.
Wow, how interesting.
Yeah.
And I think what you're saying is very interesting because, as you know, Holly, I talk a lot about intent. Intent is everything. And that is a really powerful energy, the intent. So your intent was to stay free, to open yourself. And that's so powerful. You know, it sounds simple, but it's, you know, getting to that intent. Yes, I really want, this is my intent. This is what I really need. And that's part of the whole process. Yeah. So moving on from bed bugs, what was there a sort of hiatus moment? Was there, what was the best thing here for you? What was the thing that really you brought with you?
Well, the best thing was to reconnect with my heart. And
Mm.
there's nothing, all I can say, honestly, there is nothing like that
Mm.
in any glass of wine, in
Mm.
any coping mechanism,
Yeah,
in
exactly. Yeah.
any purchase, game, sex, drug,
Mm.
nothing touches it.
No.
And I was blown away when I arrived in Santiago. You get to the cathedral and you do a little, you sit there and the priest speaks to you and whatnot. And I arrived, and I mean, as a group, not just personally, although also personally, if you want. Now, when I got there, it was so underwhelming. I was like, wait, people, I've arrived. Where's the ticker tape parade? Where are the balloons? Nothing. It
Wow.
was, it was, I really was disappointed. And
Yeah.
so the cathedral offered like just a little chat with pilgrims that wanted to in the evening. So I went to that. And the one thing that the priest said stuck with me. He said, yeah, now you've done this, it's amazing, but what are you going to do with it?
Yeah.
Now
Wow.
that you have completed this, how are you going to take these lessons in your life?
Yeah. Good question.
It was a really good question.
Yeah.
And it wasn't just a holiday, you know?
Yeah.
And so I went to the Pilgrims Mass the next morning, and that's where this is comes from the medieval pilgrimages, where they have this big, there's a word for it. I'm sorry, I don't know the word. It's an incense burner, and it's enormous, and it swings, and
Uh-huh.
it just
Uh-huh.
has all of this beautiful scent that comes through. And they did that in the old days because the pilgrims of old were disease ridden, bed bug ridden, injury ridden, imagine blisters and all kinds of stuff,
Mm.
starving. And so that was cleansing. The incense
Right.
was cleansing them so that they could come in. And so they did that. And I'm like, I'm just, kind of there. I don't mean any disrespect, waiting for the priest to begin to speak. I didn't even know I don't even know actually what language he was speaking, because all of a sudden everything melted away. And all I felt was being in this golden energy. I
Mm.
dissolved into this energy, and I could feel my body couldn't contain it. My body was so in, not, it's just not possible, just not
Mm.
possible. So much so that the force of this energy started to make my eyes spurt tears. I
Mm,
was just streaming with water.
mm,
And the other pilgrims that I had came with that sat around me, they all of a sudden, it was over, the service was over, and they looked at me and they could see I was in some weird state, and they just kind of dissolved and disappeared. And I walked in this floaty kind of state for about a year after it.
wow.
And that connection never left. It's
Mm,
different now. I was very gently
mm,
brought back down to earth, but for quite a while, it was amazing. So that, Julie, was the most. It was like a state of rapture.
wow.
And words can't describe it.
No, how incredible. So, you know, working through your ordinary life, let's say, that must have been quite tough, actually, to
Mm.
sort of come back into what people call the real world. Um, and how did you navigate that, Holly?
Um, ooh, Julie. So first of all, no spoiler alert here. Um, yeah, it was hard.
I bet.
I'm not gonna lie to you. If you decide to take the pilgrimage, you need to be prepared that anything and everything can happen.
Mm.
Maybe nothing happens and you just skip along, you know, and it's just a really nice holiday with really good wine. But, but potentially it does have the potential to just change your life completely.
Yeah.
So, um, as I said in the beginning, I had the most beautiful life, surrounded by the most beautiful people, and an amazing, very fulfilling career. And when I returned to my home, it's like it literally just crumbled around
Mm,
me
mm,
and went to ash, and it was very painful. And I had to. It was almost like at that point the universe was. See, I don't like this word testing.
no, I don't like it either, but I know what
No,
you mean.
yeah, it was okay. So
Mm,
you learn, like the priest said, what are you gonna do with it?
yeah,
Are you gonna take this necklace off now? Now that you have this open heart, what are you gonna do?
mm,
Are you gonna close down? And that was the most valuable thing in my life, Julie, was this feeling of this precious tiny little flame here in my heart. And it felt like the real world could at any time blow it out by what
mm,
people said to me, by what people wanted me to do, by what
mm,
their expectations were. And I had to be very, very gently protective of that. And I was so grateful that I wrote the journey down,
yeah,
because I returned to these pages over and over. Okay, metaphors. That's all it was for when I got back into my real life.
mm-hmm,
Okay, so when I got in a fearful state and it looked like life was going to come in at me, how did I navigate that? And I looked at my book and it was, oh, I remember. Okay, settle into the real wisdom that I have to trust the universe has got my highest and greatest good
mm,
in mind, even if it's going to be painful.
mm,
And so, step by step, I navigated, and I have to say, it was like a snake shedding skin.
Yeah.
I walked out of my life, literally.
Mm,
But I had no idea what would be waiting for me. And that
mm,
was the no expectation. And I have to tell you,
mm,
it was worth it.
yeah. So what you're describing, what you've given us today, I think is extraordinary. But I'm thinking that that phrase that you hear that mystics talk down the ages, the dark night of the soul. And I do think that one has to, as you say, confront fears, be in your heart, and that can mean that one's life goes in a sense. You know, one student described the carpet was pulled from under me. But what comes out of that, then, and I'm sure, and you can confirm this, I'm sure that the fantastic work you do now, Holly, is part of that, and probably wouldn't have happened if you hadn't have had that experience. So even though there is pain and difficulty going through these dark nights, what comes out of it is probably completely different life for people, and they find their way. And also perhaps the knowing that you're safe. I mean, you talked about trust, didn't you? And I say this quite a lot to people. Don't you know you're safe? You're safe. And I think that's really important, that sort of open-hearted, yes, it's okay, it's safe, and it's not illusionary, as some people might think. It's not fantasy, it's real. It's absolutely real. And as you rightly say, no words can describe that, but it's a reality. And then you've gone on and do the wonderful work that you do now, which is, you know, giving and helping people so much, I know. So I'm guessing there are no regrets to your journey. And so maybe to finish this short program, maybe you could just say something that has come out of it for you, the real essence of what has come out of it for you.
Mm. The essence of it is dropping illusion. The illusion that we have to be afraid, for example. And the illusion, and the reason why we are afraid is because we don't understand that we are part of this amazing energy of love, of light,
Mm,
the illusion of separateness,
yeah.
because that's what dropped in the
Mm,
cathedral that day.
mm,
I was reabsorbed.
mm,
And that's the essence. And with the work that I do, I've been, I've been over here. I've been stuck in illusion. And so
mm,
having to walk through the dark
mm,
night of the soul, in
mm,
whichever way life presents that for you, I feel that it's nice to be able to assist other people,
mm,
to give them a little bit of a cushion sometimes, to know so that they know that they're held as they go through that and that it will be okay.
mm.
Because we all, when this body drops, we are love and we are light, in spite of how the earth school tries to
Mm.
make us feel.
That
So
is so powerful. That is so powerful, Holly. Well, I can only say I recommend people to read your book and to, if they feel inspired, to walk along the pilgrimage or whatever. But then life itself is a pilgrimage, isn't it? If you think about it. And we all, in a sense, walk along that journey of life. I am so grateful of what you've told us today. I think it's inspiring and wonderful. And I hope that we'll see you again very soon, Holly. Bless you for sharing your journey with us today.
Thank you so much, Julie. It's been so lovely sharing this with you.